In several of these tutorials, you've heard me say, oh, there's a problem, I'll fix it later. Because I know that as I go back in and put more and more details in, that I will have the opportunity to pay attention to that particular problem, or it will become obvious to me again in case I had forgotten about it. But right here is a good example. I'm putting in my base molding. You can see I'm working around the house, just putting in my path and then defining the profile. And I come to this point right here and I see, oh, these gypsum boards don't line up, and I want them to. So the first thing I want to look at is what's the distance differential here, and it is 1 inch. So then I'm going to go take a look at this wall. It's a stacked wall. I'm going to take a look at it and see what's going on in terms of the construction of that wall. And I know that this is the wall I want to change. So as I hit my numbers and number 1, number 2, and see the highlight over there of which wall we're talking about, this is the wall I need to change by 1 inch. It's called brick stud. So I can say okay to that. I can say okay to that. And generally what I do is I go to the architecture wall and I'm looking for brick stud. There it is, brick stud. So I'm just going to draw a brick stud right there. And then I edit the wall. I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to call it brick stud plus 1 inch. So when I look for this wall, as I'm trying to change something, it's pretty obvious to me what this is. It's this brick stud wall, my standard brick stud wall, but it's 1 inch thicker. So I'm going to say okay. And here I come into the thickness of the softwood lumber, and instead of being 5.5, I'm going to make it 6.5. Okay. And okay. And so now I have a brick stud plus 1.5 inches, and that is what I want to substitute inside of my stack wall. So instead of brick stud, I'm going to go look for brick stud plus 1 inch. There we go. And say okay. And I'm going to cancel that because I didn't duplicate it first. This is a unique wall, so I'm going to edit that type, duplicate it, and I'm going to call it plus 1 inch. Plus 1 inch. Because if I had changed the other wall, which was my standard wall, then every place that that wall existed, it would add another inch to this brick stud. And I don't want that. I want a unique wall. And this is a unique wall at that one spot. So I'm going to change here to brick stud plus 1 inch. I didn't want to globally change the parameters of all of the stacked walls that were defined as calling it brick with wood stud, because I don't want this wall to be an extra inch thick, except in this particular location. So I gave it a new name. This is a unique wall now, and we'll say okay to that, and okay to that. And now let's take a look at what happened. Now my wall, my gypsum board lines up, which is what I wanted.